This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. University of Otago academics are calling for major changes to the rules surrounding alcohol advertising. They're part of the Independent Expert Committee on Alcohol Advertising and Sponsorship, and they're accusing the government of putting business interests before public health.
Scenes like this have become common for Dunedin residents, and local academic leaders say it's just a taste of a nationwide drinking problem. Professor Jenny Connor of Otago University is on a panel of experts who say alcohol advertising fuels the chaos, and they've released a report calling for change.
We should phase out all sponsorship of sport in New Zealand and all association of alcohol brands with sport. And this is important in other countries, but in New Zealand it's obvious that it's very important because sport is so influential.
Panellists want all alcohol advertising and sponsorship phased out over 5 years, although they're comfortable with objective information like product names and prices. Connor says international research shows alcohol advertising works as intended, enticing young and old to drink more, and the rise of internet ads is creating further problems.
With the almost universal use of social media by young people, there's no doubt that they get exposed to much more alcohol advertising and marketing than ever before. And it's very targeted to their age group.
Recommendations in the report are in line with those made by the Law Commission in 2010. Most of those proposals didn't make it into new legislation surrounding alcohol, and Connor condemns the government for that, saying politicians are putting the alcohol industry ahead of public health. She says even a ministerial report on alcohol advertising has been ignored.
And that's because the Prime Minister doesn't support taking action on alcohol marketing. I don't expect that there'll be a government response to our report because they don't want it to get any airtime either.
The Prime Minister wasn't available for comment, but Connor's hoping to attract his attention soon as leading local academics sound a call for action over alcohol advertising. David DeLorean, 39 Dunedin News.
More children are receiving before-school health checks than ever before through the Southern District Health Board. The latest government figures show 93% of Southern children eligible for the free checks are getting them. It's through a national program identifying potential or developmental health problems in young children. Their hearing, eyesight, height, weight and oral health is nationwide. 92% of eligible children received the checks in the last financial year. That's an increase on the previous year. From the start of this month, free GP visits also became available for all children under the age of 13. The business arm of Otago's Disabled Citizens Society is expanding with a new $12,000 machine. Its purchase was made possible by a Dunedin businessman's donation. And while in many cases technology replaces manpower, this time it's creating jobs.
Business is booming at Cargill Enterprises with this new electronic food packing machine. It automatically weighs and divides food products, increasing efficiency and allowing for new contracts.
Our suppliers have got more work than we're able to do, so by having the machine here we're going to be able to produce a lot more bags, which allows more work to be given to us, and it means that hopefully then we'll be able to hire more staff to do that, so it's a win-win all round.
Local optometrist Mark Bridgemount donated $7,000 to the business so it could buy the machine. Cargill Enterprises is the trading arm of the Otago Disabled Citizens Society, employing about 70 staff with varying levels of disability in half a dozen business units.
And it allows them to be able to learn how to work in a good, safe environment, and it's a fantastic place to be part of.
There are currently a dozen people working in the food packing area, repacking bulk products including sweets, herbs and spices. Just one of many services on site, centred around the local manufacturing sector.
We're always trying to come up with new ideas, and we hope to be making sugar sticks shortly for using in cafeterias, doing a lot more jelly beans in confectionery, and there's also lots and lots of other work coming through that the Dunedin community and Otago use us to do for them.
Cargill Enterprises is also one of 14 community groups nationwide selected to receive a share of $250,000. It's eligible for funding as the Otago champion of the Good in the Hood competition. And if successful, it'll use the money for a new van and forklift, further boosting business. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
More licence plates are being stolen for use in petrol drive-offs from service stations. For the second time in recent weeks, registration plates have been stolen from vehicles in a Princes Street car yard. The plates have since been used in 2 petrol drive-offs. Several other cases of licence plate theft have been reported locally over the past month. Police are responding by giving out anti-theft screws to vehicle owners. A leading chemistry researcher is the latest recipient of the University of Otago's highest accolade. She's won the Distinguished Research Medal for more than 2 decades of work, and now she's passing on her knowledge to the city's budding scientists.
Professor Sally Brooke has been in and out of these science laboratories for almost a quarter of a century, and her work around inorganic chemistry is paying off, securing her the University of Otago's highest honour, a Distinguished Research Medal. And while she's pleased with the award, she says her line of research is all about teamwork.
This is a recognition of the whole team's effort, not just mine, that's for sure. I don't do wet chemistry experiments in the lab anymore. I tend to be too busy organising, coordinating, trying to bring the best out in each of the individuals working with me.
Brooker's research is internationally recognised, with several of her papers making the cover of respected chemistry journals. She now spends most of her time supervising others in their own scientific discovery, but remains involved in current research.
So while I'm not actually doing the science in the lab, we have regular meetings to look into a bit more detail in what they're doing, but also I'll wander through the lab and just say, oh, what have you got happening in the hood there today? Or, how did you get on with the experiment we discussed last time? So, as you say, a lot of mentoring now.
Brooker credits her parents for encouraging her to follow her passion, which has seen her work on research in Germany before settling in Dunedin.
It's a nice working environment every day. It's a good team here. Department of Chemistry is very good and got great students coming through. University is very good at supporting PhD scholarships for bright students, and so you can have a really effective research team here in Dunedin and do stuff that the world looks at, so it's kind of cool.
And she plans to stick around with plenty of ambitious projects at the university. They include a public lecture later this year to pass on her wealth of scientific knowledge. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, a local film producer urges others to put their creativity on film, and we'll take a look at our online poll results.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Discover New Zealand's most innovative museum, Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. 14 stunning galleries, 3 distinct architectural styles, and 1 million intriguing stories are yours to discover at Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. Open daily next to Dunedin Railway Station and with free admission. Toitu Otago Settlers Museum.
She's 21 metres long with a 6.7 metre beam. She can support diving, seafloor mapping and sampling, deep water measurements, and has onboard laboratories. She has a range of 1,000 nautical miles, which means the Polaris 2 can take your studies further than you ever thought possible. My name's Will Raymond, and this is My Place in the World.
Take your place in the world.
For 30 years, Southern Clams have harvested New Zealand littleneck clams in the coastal waters of Otago. Hand harvesting to order at the right place and time ensures perfection of every clam you eat. New Zealand littleneck clams, harvested for you by Southern Clams.
Got a hankering to create? Then head on down to Needle and Thread at 441 Princess Street. Needle and Thread is your first choice for a great range of quilting, sewing, knitting, supplies and tuition. With so many options, you will be inspired. Needle and Thread, phone 479 2771.
Welcome back. Goods exports to China are up in the first monthly increase since last August. The market rose $20 million in June to reach just under $700 million. That's as the official cash rate is being cut to counter a softening economy. Export logs, meat and fruit to China are leading the rise. But milk powder is still falling, down $92 million for the month. The weakening dairy sector is one of the biggest influences of the current economy. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. And the NZX 50 has closed the day down 7 points. It's now at 5,894. The Nikkei is down 137 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the Australian, but we are down against the other currencies we follow. The producer of a local short film is urging other Dunedin residents to explore their creative potential. Veronica Stevenson has produced a short documentary through the National Loading Docks initiative, and she joins us to talk about it. Good evening.
Good evening.
What is Loading Docks?
Loading Docks is a collaboration between New Zealand On Air and the New Zealand Film Commission to make sure short, punchy New Zealand stories get told.
And how can it help Dunedin filmmakers?
Well, it's an open call. So essentially, Loading Docks puts out a call for entries, and you put forward the idea for a short film, and then a selection gets picked of 10, and they're around a theme. So last year the theme was home, and this year the theme's connection.
What are the benefits that come with production of local content?
It brings really great talent down here. So we worked with Bevan Crothers, who is one of the best cinematographers in New Zealand, and he came down and he was able to meet local talent. So we used all soundies, runners, and all of the on-set crew were local. So they got to mix with someone of really high calibre. Yep.
How can people get involved?
Follow Loading Docks on Vimeo, on Facebook, and when they put the call for entries out, put your hand up, write a proposal and get involved.
What's the process for making a short documentary?
Well, getting funding, so putting the proposal together, and then figuring out your key crew and when they can all meet, and when you can actually do production, and then putting that together, then the edit, the sound mix, the colour grade, and then the screening.
Tell us about the short film that you've just produced.
Wilberforce is about performance wrestler William McDougall and his alter ego Wilberforce, aka the King, and his rise from his current state to returning to being his best self, and the struggle and the journey that goes. Yeah.
Were other locals involved?
Ollie Lux is the director, and he was another graduate of the MSci-Com Masters in Filmmaking at university with me. So he was involved, Patrick Roberts, Susan Harvey, who's an editor at NHNZ, she was involved. So yeah, there was my network of filmmakers in New Zealand, everyone was involved.
How difficult was it to condense a documentary into 3 minutes?
It was really hard. In fact, Ollie is convinced we're going to make something bigger and better with the footage, and Bevan was already really keen. Like we were down here and we were working together, and he was like, "This is a much bigger story. Wilbur is an amazing character, and it deserves to have a bigger." So it could be a launch pad.
What do you hope that viewers take away from your documentary?
Looking out for your friends, what you can actually do to help a friend in a dark place, how to reconnect with your best self and your passion, and what happens when you let that go. But also to be entertained, and you will be entertained, you will laugh, and some people have cried.
That's a huge amount to get out of 3 minutes.
I know. Yeah.
Is the local film industry growing?
I don't know. I like to think so, but I surround myself with creatives, so it might be a bit of a confirmation bias on that front, because I'm always surrounding myself with filmmakers, so I hope so, yeah.
What's the biggest challenge for filmmakers down here?
Getting access to really good talent. Like we don't have a whole lot of soundies or a whole lot of cinematographers that you can just pick up. You do have to fly them down, and that increases your budget costs and things like that. So I think that's quite a major problem, having the talent here. What's
the next project on the boil?
I'm actually applying for some funding for the New Zealand On Air web series, and working with a local director here called Scott Mowat, Elwyn Productions, sorry, and you might have to wait until I get funding to launch that one.
Film producer Veronica Stevenson, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, a local academic tells us about his surprising new David Bowie-inspired project. And we'll take a look at the two teams that are vying for the top spot in the Premier Club Rugby competition.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked, money back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. For more information, visit our website spcaotago.org.nz and give one of our adult animals a second chance at life.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Moving around the corner, overseas, Best Removals Otago Limited, specialists in household removals and business relocations, as well as packing materials, secure storage. Best Removals can do it all. 0800 266 834.
Quality Tailors, the alterations specialists, adjusting alterations made to measure. Quality Tailors, fitting Dunedin for over 15 years. Call 477 8028 162 Princess Street, one shop down from Darling Street.
Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's oat singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds.
Haraway's oat singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's oat singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. An academic known for his love of David Bowie is taking his passion to the next level. He's written a book about the artist and his impact on the world. And now the local Bowie fan is eyeing up a surprising new project.
The music of David Bowie has been a lifelong passion for Otago University lecturer Dr. Ian Chapman, and he's turned that interest into a book. Delivering a talk on Bowie at a local lodge, Chapman's detailed the labour of love that's gone into the project.
I won't say all of it was easy writing, because I've analysed every one of his studio albums, which was quite a task, and some of them inevitably are favourites of mine, some are not, but it was a great journey.
Chapman's been a Bowie fan since 1973 and has even taught university classes about the influential artist. So getting to write a book about the man and his impact on the world has been a dream come true.
He communicates with people through his music, obviously, but also through film, through his image and his challenging of gender stereotypes and so forth. He's one of the influential figures of the 20th century in terms of youth culture.
Chapman says there's growing academic interest in Bowie's works around the world, and he's excited to contribute to that conversation. He hopes his book has universal appeal in detailing the power of music, and he's already working on a follow-up.
The publisher that I did the Bowie book with was very happy, and so offered me another title, and we talked about who that might be on. And Alice Cooper has always been another important figure to me, fascinating rock and roll artist like no other.
Chapman's pleased to already have positive feedback about the Bowie book and plans to take leave next year to write about Alice Cooper, once again immersing himself in some of the world's most iconic music. David DeLorean, 39 Dunedin News.
A local task force is being set up to lobby the Ministry of Justice over the historic courthouse. Dunedin's legal community wants the iconic building reopened, but that requires extensive earthquake strengthening. In this week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asked if you thought that the government should spend millions on the courthouse, and 79% of you are in favour of that. Well, as highlighted earlier, local academics say alcohol advertising and sponsorship should be phased out. Research shows such promotion works to increase alcohol consumption. And next week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asks you if you feel that sort of sponsorship and advertising should be restricted. You can vote at our website dunedintv.co.nz. Well, it's finals time in the Premier Local Club Rugby competition, so let's take a look at the teams vying for victory.
Defending champions Tyree take on University A in a mirror image of last year's final. Tyree will again be captained by loose forward Charlie O'Connell in the Forsyth Bar Stadium match. If Tyree win, it'll be the side's fourth title in 5 years. But after dispatching Harbour in the semis, University A has emerged a worthy opponent and will be led by Sam Sturgis. The last time University A claimed ultimate victory was in 2010. And down at University Oval, Kaikorai will play Dunedin for the Gainsborough Shield final. We'll have full coverage of the final in Monday's bulletin.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Local academics are calling for legislative change around alcohol advertising and sponsorship, which they say fuels drunken disorder. A new machine at Cargill Enterprises means the business can take on more contracts and employ more residents affected by disability. And chemistry professor Sally Brooker is the latest recipient of the Most Distinguished Research Award at the University of Otago. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Barry Stewart joins us. Good evening.
Hello, Rebecca. King's High School is fighting the ministry in a bid to keep its role or to stop a cap being put on its role. That's what I meant to say. We have details of $7 million spend up on Dunedin heritage buildings, and we continue our Cycleway series, third part in the series. And tomorrow we look at tourism and business potential of cycleways. Good read there. Sport, of course, club rugby, you've already mentioned that. We're all over that, plus all the other events that are happening in the sporting arena. The mix, we Otago historians present a list of 17 notable Dunedin women. So you can vote on your favourite in that one. So that's a good story there. Feature writer Shane Gilchrist talks to author Greg McGee about his latest novel and his inspiration, etc.
Plenty of weekend reading in there. Thank you, Barry. That's
Thank you.
Tomorrow's ODT. Time now for local weather.
Weather Update is proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorns Puff Plus.
And around the city today at 3 o'clock, the magic number, well, not quite magic for everywhere, but the Central City and the Gardens both recorded 13, lucky for some, and 15 for the Tyree. To the situation, and a trough of low pressure will move on to the country this weekend, accompanied by a weakening front. To the forecast for some of the main towns on the lower South Island for tomorrow, strong northerlies with rain later in the day for Invercargill and Gore. Strong northerlies for Tianau as well, rain all day there. And northerlies, not particularly strong in Alexandra, but high cloud increasing, highs of around 12 or 13 degrees. Strong northerlies, rain later in the day in Queenstown, high cloud for Oamaru with northerly winds, and high cloud increasing for Wanaka and Twizel with northerlies, highs of around 12 to 13 degrees. And Dunedin tonight remaining fine with a low of 4. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, but the cloud will increase and mild northerlies will become gusty, go for a high of 13. And on Sunday, cloudy with a few spots of rain and strong mild northerlies easing 15 degrees. Might pick out of that for washing day, definitely Saturday. Well, finally to the Southern Clams tidal and fishing information, and high tide tomorrow morning is at 10:30. Low tide on Sunday evening is at 6:10. And fishing conditions aren't looking too good for the weekend, but if you were keen, you should have your line in the water at around 7 o'clock Saturday morning and 7:45 on Sunday morning. Well, that's all from a team here at 39 Dunedin News for this week. We will leave you now some shots of the week that was, set to music by Curtis Mayfield. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complications. And take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up. For peace you'll find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush not, child, and don't cry. Might understand you by and by. Move on up and keep on wishing. Remember your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Welcome to Southern Attractions. Over the next half hour, we'll take you on a virtual tour of the historic Dunedin and its magnificent wild landscapes. We'll introduce you to many of the features that make this place so welcoming to visitors. And we hope the show will help you decide how to enjoy our city's many attractions and inform you more about Dunedin and Otago. At 46 degrees south, about halfway between the equator and the South Pole, sits Dunedin, also known as the Edinburgh of the South, or colloquially as Dunners, and the Maori name is Ōtepoti. It's the second largest city in the South Island of New Zealand and the principal city of the Otago region. It's considered to be one of the 4 main urban centres of New Zealand for historic, cultural and geographic reasons. The Dunedin urban area lies